Good morning, Salotine and Clarota. Welcome. Good morning. Testing. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
I think we're just about good to start here. Give 2-minute warning here for everybody to take their places here as we get set. As well, we have a number of things that we have going on here. We have a massage therapist here as well for those of you that are thinking maybe over the course of the next few days that you might need a massage. We do have that set up over here, and I think you could sign up over there as well during the next little while, if that's something you want to do as we move forward here with our men's wellness. Getting a little feedback, yeah. What's our sound man's name? Check 1 2. Check. I'm too electrifying. Check 1 2. Good. I think we're going to ask everybody to take their places at this time as we get set here this morning to start our day and try to keep things on time and on our agenda, so we can have everybody take their places. There's still lots of food there, but we're going to get our opening ceremony underway here and get our day started. My name's Cal Arcan. I'm from the Muskeg Lake Cree Nation, and certainly honored to come out here to be a part of the next 3 days here for the Men's Wellness Conference and Man in the Mirror, brought to you by the MLTC Health and Social Development. So it's nice to come out and be with all the men of the Meadow Lake Tribal Council that have come out to partake here and to get involved with one another, to get to know one another, to see old friends, to talk about some of the issues that we have in our communities. And it all started here not too long ago with our elders, our Kiteak, that lifted the pipes for us this morning to give blessings for our families at home, as they do in the pipe ceremony, to give blessings for the day today, that we wake up and be thankful that we can be here and talk about these things and work some things out for ourselves to try be better men for our communities and for our families and wherever we are on that journey, as it goes the circle of life. When we start off as a little baby and move forward into our adolescence, into our adulthood, and then come full circle into eldership, where some of our men that are here today, and everybody's at a different place in that circle all the time, that learning and relearning and re-grasping of our culture. I'm always learning. I danced POW since I was 10 years old and started learning about who we are as Indian people and learning about the culture. I'm still learning today. The things I talk about, and when I have the opportunities to be a master of ceremonies at different events, I'm still learning too. Everybody's still learning. I'm still learning the language. Miugisiko. It's a nice day today to come and meet with the men of the Meadow Lake Tribal Council, to come and look for solutions for ourselves and our relatives and our people back home. When we're listening to the pipe ceremony this morning and the elders, we thank them for the things that they're talking about. Very humble things. You know, a very different life that we live today, and many of us know it growing up. And even myself in an urban setting, I remember we could play in the streets all night in the cities, and it was safe. And today we know that's not true. Today we know it's a very different life that we're living, very dangerous. So we're thankful to those elders that share those. And, you know, they're having a pipe ceremony tomorrow morning again, 8 o'clock. We want to see more men come out of that, come out to the pipe ceremony, come and partake, come and be a part of that circle, come and smoke pipe. You know, that ceremony, a lot of times it's not maybe made available to any of us. But when it is, we should take advantage and try to learn who we are as Indian men. I just wanted to share that a little bit as we open up our day here. We're going to ask our friends from Waterhen to do an honor song to open up. That'll be our opening ceremonies here for our gathering. And a lot of the things I'm talking about are with that drum. You know, when we think of our singers that carry the songs, our ceremonial songs, even them when they're going to powwows, you know, they always give thanks, that grandfather, to that animal that gave his life so that we can sing those songs. So we know as Indian men that everything's interrelated. Everything happens for a reason, even us being here. You know, how it came to be that all of us are here, and many of us seeing old friends from long ago, from Kayas, again today, here. And it's the Creator's design to bring us all together, to let us take something away in the next 3 days, take it to our communities, to make us stronger men, to help us, to help our families, to help our elders at home, to help our women, our mothers, our grandmothers. And that's what our culture talks about. It talks about being humble, you know, being humble and respecting grandmothers and our mothers, Mother Earth. Everything that we get in life comes from Earth, Mother Earth, the drum, the circle, the 4 phases of life that I talked about, the 4 creatures that inhabit Mother Earth, everything that sustains us, the 4 seasons that we enjoy here in Saskatchewan. We're thankful for all those things, but a lot of times we forget there's so many distractions. And the elders talked about it at the pipe ceremony. It's easy to be distracted and lose ourselves. But it's up to us too to come back to ourselves, to come and remember who we are, to look to one another, you know, to bring us back to that light, bring us back to that circle. So I'm going to ask us all to stand at this time as we call on our singers to sing us a song, to sing us an honor song and 4 starts for the things that we've just talked about, the 4 directions, the 4 colors of man, the 4 phases of life, the 4 seasons, 4 directions. So with that, Waterhen Juniors, if you will. Everybody say hi, hi. All right. Thank you, singers. Give them a round of applause there, guys. They're awesome singers from Waterhen Lake. So even them, when you hear them sing those songs, and sometimes they're word songs and sometimes they're chant songs, but we've seen a few of our singers there. Each of them took a lead and each of them has their own style. And it's just like our dancers and our singers that are out there and our powwows. Everybody has their own way that they share their style of dance. Everyone has their own way. They share their style of singing, just like us. Men, we have our own way of carrying ourselves. And it's up to us to learn those respective ways of our people, our TP teachings of love and caring and sharing and obedience and all those good TP teachings. So thank you again to our singers. You guys are excused. Give them another round of applause as they exit the stage. These guys are cool, man. Right on. Again, I'd like to acknowledge our Kateak, our pipe carriers here this morning. Give them a round of applause here, friends and relatives are doing that. And again, if you're up early tomorrow, 8 o'clock is when we have the pipe ceremony here. Come on in and come and join that circle. Come and sit and come and listen. We're going to start our day off here with our leadership that are here. We're going to call forward at this time. I know Tribal Chief Ben is not here, but we're going to call forward Vice Chief Richard DeRocher, as well, Vice Chief Labada, Lawrence McIntyre. Come on forward here, boys. Is Chuk here? He's making his way up to the stage. I don't know if Toronto Maple Leafs won last night or lost, but those Toronto Maple Leaf fans are very resilient. So win or lose, they wear their colors. Give them a round of applause here, folks. You want this one?
That's too high.
That's too high. That one's for Cal.
I don't want to wreck Cal's day. So we'll leave that. Good morning, Warriors. How's my fellow Warriors this morning? Right on, right on. And my theme today of my opening remarks is being a warrior. I wear this jersey not only because I'm a Toronto fan, but because they're warriors. 1967 is the last time the Toronto Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup. But yet, kaya pits, they carry on because they're warriors. And the deadliest warrior that ever wore a Toronto Maple Leaf fan is a jersey is right here. Wendell Clark, he was a warrior. That's the same warrior that's inside all of us. Every one of us have that warrior inside of us. Some of us, it's a warrior for fighting for our treaty rights, our political people. Some people, it's fighting for our youth. There's our warriors. Some people, it's in our communities, helping our young people, learning our traditions. There's warriors. Our elders that smoked the pipe for us this morning are spiritual warriors. We are all warriors inside of us. There is a warrior. We've been like that since the time they say immemorial, which means forever. The First Nations, I don't like saying indigenous because it's too encompassing, but First Nations, we've been warriors since day one. The man has been the warrior. The man has been the protector. The man has been the provider. The man has been the supporter in our families. We protect our wife, our children, our grandchildren. We provide food, sustenance for our families, and we support our women in the raising of our children. That has been with us forever. And that's the message I want to leave here today, is the warrior is inside of you. We're all different levels right now in our healing, in our moving forward in life. Some are just beginning, right on. If this is day 3 or day 4, right on. That's better than day 0. If you've been on that red road for 20 years, right on. That's where you are. Our job is to support, as I said, support. We have young men here. We have older men here. Our job is to support. That's part of who we are. To support them young men that are starting their journey down the right road. Our job is to support that and help that. You know, I was given a gift. I went to Bouval Residential High School. And I went to school in Meadow Lake till grade 10. In Meadow Lake, I was the quiet kid in the back. Never said a word. Only spoke when I was talked to. I wasn't proud of my it wasn't that I wasn't proud of my culture. The people that I was going to school with, the education system, never understood our system, never understood who we were. So I went to school in Bouval, and things changed there. It took me about a month to figure it out. Everybody was getting along. Everybody was, and I figured it out. We're all equal. Since then, grade 10, I went to Bouval in grade 10. I became the vice president of the youth of the SRC in the school. I become the the president of the youth council in the residence. And I gave my voice. I gained my voice. And that's the gift I had all this time. But I didn't realize it till I was equal. That's the only time that I realized I had that voice, when I was given the opportunity to be an equal. So, you all have that inside of you. It's just a matter of when. When do I realize it? When do I use it? There's another thing I want to talk about is, we have warriors, we have leaders right inside our communities. Right inside our communities. But it seems you have to be from over there, or over there, or over there, or far away to be recognized. We have warriors right in our community that are helpers, that have the answers. But instead, we'll go seek somebody way over there to come and do the job that somebody could have done in-house. And we're all guilty of it. Our organization, our First Nations, us as human beings, we do it to ourselves. We're trying to build up a nation. We're trying to build up each other. But yet, we go somewhere else to bring somebody in to help us build ourselves. Let's start building from within. Let's start building from home, in our homelands, in our home communities, in our families. We have elders in our families, yet we try to see elders from somewhere else. Another thing I want to talk about is my dad gave me a very important lesson when I was 10 years old. We were out hunting, driving in the bush, and having a little bit of a man-to-man chat, as a 10-year-old and a father can have. And he asked me, Chukap, that's my name that he used. Instead of Chuk, it was Chukap. Chukap, he says, what's the strongest muscle in your body? And me, I was, pretty smart. I said, your legs. Your legs are the biggest muscle mass in your body. And he said, wrong. I says, how is that possible, Dad? And then he started to speak. He said, your tongue is the strongest muscle in your body. With that muscle, you can lift people up. You can praise people. You can make people feel good about themselves. You can say good things. You can pray with that tongue. You can bring good things upon people with that tongue. But that very same muscle, you can call people down. You can belittle people. You can hurt people. You can bully people. To the point today, our young people are struggling with suicide because of bullying, because of people talking bad about them. And our elders experience the same things. People talking bad about their families, and it affects them. It affects the mother, it affects the father, affects the grandpa and grandma. Those people that use their tongue in the wrong way have got much to learn. Instead of lifting people up, praising people. And that's what we're here for today, the next 3 days, is lifting each other up, understanding our place, understanding who we are as men, and taking that message home to our communities, to our families, because we are leaders in our families. Last night I was napping downstairs. I fell asleep watching a hockey game because it was so boring. I think, what was the score? 1-0 at the end last night. But I was sleeping, and I was sleeping on a couch. All of a sudden, somebody was hugging me, laying on top of me, and had his head on top of my chest. And I woke up, and it was my grandson saying, "Oh, hi, Mushum. I just come check on you," he said. He was checking if I was breathing, listening to my chest to see if I'm breathing. You're a champion, just like that. My grandson come to check on me because I'm his champion. I'm his warrior. His dad is his warrior. Don't forget, you are that. Your grandchildren, your Japans, your children, they may not show it because we've been hurt so bad that sometimes it's hard to show love. It's hard to show affection because of the traumas that we went through over time. But you are a champion. You are a warrior. And I want to leave that with you today. Have a good 3 days. On behalf of the 9 chiefs that I serve, Tribal Chief Ben, Vice Chief Lawrence McIntyre, CEO Gordon Iron, have a good week. Ahaw. Oh, you don't need that.
I don't need that. Who were you watching last night? Which game was so boring? Toronto Maple Leafs? I'm just kidding. I don't usually tease any hockey teams. I'm a Calgary Flames fan myself. And so I was looking at my medallion. I got one partner over there looking at my jersey. I said, I better leave that here. Meadow Lake, they got too many hockey fans out there. How many Oiler fans out here? Don't be shy. You guys are getting a few wins under your belt. There's the Oiler table over there. Don't ever say nothing about the Oilers. They're the only team in Treaty 6 territory, so we can't say nothing bad. I'm going to bring forward Vice Chief Lawrence McIntyre at this time to come and say a few words. Big round of applause. Also, Calgary Flames fan.
He wishes I was Calgary fan. Ito note, doon sige. Doon kami na Borel niya sa. Kanse. Oh, dapwe, malas kans. Wilson. I'd like to thank our pipe carriers. Marcy Harris and uno pa. Tenerilia, keti sari tizega. Ti no pa el gale. Hanin kan bi. Marcy Harris. Ko sinyese erun tanong tele. Erot ka. Usage yaoze. Nani erot ileklo. Nani da hoyuni lanat deklo. Ayo ade. Sinyese. Some of you are probably wondering, why isn't he wearing a headdress? Well, my headdress, it had too many feathers. The Denny headdress doesn't have too many. I had 22 feathers on that headdress. Too many. The Denny headdress, it had only 12. And they were golden eagle feathers. So now it's being repaired. I don't know how long it's going to take, but you'll see me wearing it. I'd like to thank the chiefs and the communities for being acclaimed this past month, 2 weeks ago. Marcy Choke from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much, the communities. I'm not going to talk about this morning. I just made an elder's day. He's from Buffalo River. I shook his hand and I said, Montreal Canadiens are #1. Holy man. I think I shocked him. He looked at me, he just looked at me. He never said a word. Usually he has about a few words to me, because I'm a Boston Bruin fan for over 60-some years. I didn't listen to the nuns. I didn't listen to the priests at the residential school. So that's why. But I'm a third-generation survivor of residential school. Both my grandma, she attended from 1910 to 1916. Both my parents, the late Senator Frank McIntyre, and my mom. My dad attended from 33 to 38, my mom from 37 to 44. Then myself and my brothers, my uncles, my cousins, a lot of them. In 2007, I was a band manager at English River, and I counted over 300 survivors from both the Isle of Cross and as well as La Planche, Uval, Indian Residential School. So we've come a long ways. We've come through a lot of challenges. Some of them in your home communities are awesome fishermen. They're awesome trappers. They're awesome at anything they do. ROC. Some of them can navigate through the rapids like nobody's business. You take them to Edmonton or to Vancouver, they get lost. But take them to the river. Take them to the land. They know. And like Vice Chief was talking about warriors, those are warriors. Those are the people that we looked up to when we were growing up. Today, they say in the program, what does it say about the conference? Man in the mirror. Man in the mirror. It's just that who's in front of you? What are some of the changes that you're going to make a man looking in the mirror? I was in treatment in 1983. And one of the exercises was we had to look in a mirror. They brought a big mirror, one of those 6-foot. I looked at myself. I said, what are some of the things that I need to change in my life? Some of the habits, some of the things. Only me, I could do that. And some of the people that were there with me, I think there were 7 or 8, couldn't look at themselves in the mirror. There were actually 1 or 2 that cried and turned away, walked away. Asi edonong se hade nanose. You want to change? It's up to you. Edecha asi takube bale for yourself. That's the only way. We have a lot of elders out there that Nani, which I knew, which I knew after Lilise, which I knew that a Delhi, he kills it. Their culture. They've never lost it. And I'm proud to say I can still speak my language fluently and understand my language. That is only from mobile days, they taught me a little bit Cree, but so those words might be bad, so I'm not going to repeat them. Yeah, they call me Matzayas. I don't know what that means. Yeah, we played together in a residential school. We grew up together, knowing. So I still have a lot of friends from the residential school, my brothers, my sisters, because we were there for 10 years, 10 months out of the year. My first year was 1963. I was 7 years old. Any of you would send your grandson or your child at 7 years old to a faraway school? Raise your hand. Come on, you guys. None of you today would send their grandson or their grandchild to a school. I stayed there for 10 days, 10 months. Never went home. Christmas time we stayed. I remember that one time 10 of us from Pachonac, small boys, 6, 7, 8 years, we were going to go back, they said. That was our Christmas gift. And then all of a sudden they changed their mind. You could have seen the crocodile tears, the lonesomeness. They lied to us. We didn't go. They told us to get over it. Matush, crybaby. They called us, young boys. Some of us, it stuck with us. Some of us, we grew from it. If you don't see your mom and dad for 10 months, it's a difficult time. And when you come back, it's also difficult because you don't have the culture. You don't know how to go set a net because they never taught you that at the residential school. You don't know how to set a snare, but you learn how to read and write and speak the language. If you spoke your language, at the residence, they pull your ears or they tape your mouth. Why? So we were slowly trying to extinguish our culture. That's why, as men, no need, then undoubtedly, we stand up We stand up to whatever. I was a feisty little guy. I was about 5'3". I'm only still 5'3", but I was about 135 pounds. But my grandfather said, "You stand up, but learn the language, and come back and help your people." So today, in the next 3 days, there's going to be some great speakers that are going to pass on their knowledge to you. Maybe some of you will take that home. Some of you maybe might throw it in a trash can. I don't need that BS. But some of you will utilize it, the tools. Like my good friend, Vice Chief said, suicide at our First Nations. Sometimes it's very crippling at a young age. I heard the other day there was an 8 or 9-year-old that took her life. 8, 9-year-old. That's the same age as my grandson. Why? There's things that are coming into the community that are messing up our minds, our youth's mind. They had a great conference in Saskatoon. Over 200 youth attended that last week. They were all smiling, having fun. Those are the things. Those are some of the things that we lift up. They're able to speak, able to talk. The old man over there, Rod Abscess, he bikes every year for suicide prevention. Stand up. You don't know who you are. You're a Toronto Maple Leaf fan. Another one, Toronto Maple Leaf. Give him a hand, you guys. Every year he bikes 100 miles to get awareness to our young people. You can do it. It's in you. None. So with that, I'm not going to speak as long as my good friend. I want to cut it short by 5 minutes. So Marcy Choke, thank you very much. Have a good day and have a good week.
Yeah, this guy always squeezes the heck out of my hand when I see him. Otherwise, he arm twisting. Thank you, Lawrence, for the words. We're going to call up our next leader. It's an honor to introduce him here today. Come forward here, Vice Chief Craig McCollum of the Canoe Lake First Nation. Keep clapping as he makes his way up here. He really likes that. I had him at the powwow here this year, and I kept doing interviews with him steady. He's like, leave me alone for a while. I just got elected. Make him welcome here, Meadow Lake, Craig McCollum.
He knows I hate it, actually, but Mukik Spayao Kakyao, Ktatam Scott Nawao, Sipgamaga Nitsigason, Egwa Nihiopa Sekuchi, Nitmagian Uma, Nitmagian. Good morning, everyone. I greet all of you in a good way. My name is Craig McCollum, and I'm from Canoe Lake Cree Nation. I, like you, have, I'm learning. I'm trying to introduce myself in my language, and it still takes a lot of courage for me to do that, to try and pronounce those words and to present that front because of colonization, because of fear, because of different things. And it's important that we take courage every day. I was sitting in ceremony, and I asked the grandfathers, I said, why does she have to be so sad all the time? Why does she have to carry all of that all the time? And I was told that our women aside from the gift of being able to give life, they're given the gift of love. And that's a lesson that they pass on to us. That's something that they give to us and they teach us if we're willing to learn it. But I was told that they carry that that my mom carries that because she can, because she has to. And I asked them, well, what do I do? What can I do? And they said, you have to take it upon yourself to understand the roles that we have as men in our societies. And the leadership before me talked about it. They talked about our role as protectors and providers and supporters. You see, because women are the foundation of our homes. And as men, we're the walls, we're the ceilings. We watch over our families, we protect them. But because of colonization, because of residential schools and trauma, we haven't learned those lessons because we carry a lot of pain, a lot of fear, a lot of discomfort in our hearts, in our minds. But it's important that we understand that we as men have to take up that fight. We have to. That young girl that committed suicide, she was in grade 4. She was in grade 4, and I wonder what was happening in her life, in her world, to make her feel that hopeless. And where were the people that were supposed to protect her? I've thought about her a lot in the last couple weeks. And I don't know what the answers are. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know how to help. But showing up to things like this, waking up every day and deciding to be better, to try and be that warrior that they talked about, being here, deciding that you're going to try and better yourself some way for your family, for your community, that's a start. I think that's a great place to start. And so I'm really proud to see so many men from the north here, young and old. Everyone here, you see on those pictures, you see these people that they call role models. But I always remind people that we're all role models. Raise your hand really quick. How many of you have children? Raise your hand. Keep it up if you. How many of you have nieces or nephews? How many of you work with young people? All of your hands went up. That means that you've got young people that look up to you. Young people that watch you. Whether you know it or not, you're a role model. But like they urged us, what kind of role models are we going to be? There's an experiment that was done with ticks. They put them in a cup and then covered the cup. And ticks can jump pretty high. But they covered the cup and the ticks could only jump to where the paper was. And after a while, they removed the paper and the ticks never jumped past that height. Because they grew to develop and internalize and accept that belief about their limits and what's possible for them. That's the responsibility that you have. You have to show our young people that that's not our limit, that we can jump higher, we can reach higher, we can live different, we can go down a different path. I was a young person, and I remember what I thought was possible for my life. It's very different than the thing I'm living right now. But like I said, I'm proud that you're all here to try and learn something, to try and do something, to help your community, help yourself, help your family, help everyone that comes after you, those young ones that you all have in your life that look up to you. Maybe something you learn this week will help you some way. Then it will help them. Then it will help their grandkids. Someone said it one time, and it just stuck with me. They said, if trauma can be passed on from generation to generation, so can healing. But it has to start somewhere. And so I'm proud of you all for being here. I'd like to thank the elders for lifting pipe, and for the organizers that put this on, and for MLTC for bringing me home and helping me, allowing me to be a part of this. I thank all of you, and I hope you all have a good week, and thank you for your time. Thank you.
Vice Chief for the Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations, Craig McCollum, thank you. We're going to turn things towards the screen at this time as we have our next presenter here is coming by way of a recording, our member of the Legislative Assembly of Athabasca, Jim, how do you say his last name? Lamag? Lamag, okay, see?
I would like to begin by acknowledging we are on. Thank you and good morning. I would like to begin by acknowledging we are on Treaty 6 territory in the homeland of the Métis. It's a pleasure to be here to bring you greetings on behalf of Premier Scott Moe and the Government of Saskatchewan. I'm honored to stand before you here today for the Man in the Mirror Conference. My thanks to the Meadow Lake Tribal Council for the invitation and their unwavering dedication to the well-being of the 9 Meadow Lake Tribal Council First Nations. Today, we embark on a journey of discussions touching on topics crucial to men's wellness. This conference is not only about discussion, but also a holistic experience. So I encourage each of you to participate in these conversations. Your experience and insights is invaluable. Let us embrace this opportunity for shared learning and support, and celebrate the strength found in unity and collective wisdom. Once again, I express my gratitude for the invitation to be a part of this. All the best for an enjoyable and enriching conference. Thank you. Dunzinik Emerson Johannesens na John Nobaya Tini I. Don't u a Hathitel de that is seeing under Yelchi, Beneridihu, but Asa Hideha. Danny you hit lean that to a Kenil new and to see under Yelchi Hotila. A add doing Zinik to send your children if I had with E. Tida to root on that u at a diet no Hayatia. At ED ha Hotia. A assis a mercy no Henderson and doing zinc edge on a do no by a TV I. Meadow Lake Tribal Council Donald Anil Ejaneti and Uatleti was a rate, but Anidani Dale Hala. A assis and Setzi a mercy behind stanza. Then Dunzinik at die door own, die Honohan Henne. Then he get he hold true no Henenic and need daily and Ubadoril the Libanda Yauti. A assis a mercy no Honestanza. A ahoti had read Clinana de Yautiu and on Usugao Lee and out dear mercy.
Big round of applause there for our MLA Athabasca, Jim Lamag. So thank you for that. We're going to call forward here at this time to round up our morning introductions and speakers here before we have our first health break. We're going to call forward here our Senior Health Director, Marissa Morasti, to come forward here. Big round of applause here, friends and relatives, long time friend, and seen her at many conferences, mostly youth conferences I've seen her at. So I'm so happy that she's here to address us here at our Men's Wellness Conference.
Thank you so much, Cal. Gambi Horilia, Donziniga Horilia, Mugisiga Omanot, Ego Ipituhtig. I want to say it's a good morning and it's a good day because you're here. And I want to thank everybody for the courage. I know that some of you were probably thinking, how come you're asking me to go? You know? And maybe your wife or maybe your partner encouraged you to go and you probably had a little bit of resistance. But I want to say that you're here at the right time and the right place because there's such a powerful energy when there's healing in the room. And you men are powerful, despite what anything and anybody's ever said. As Nihiowak, we're powerful. Muiganwe snipik squan. I'm not going to speak very very long, but I want to greet you all on behalf of the Health and Social Development Office. I want to at first acknowledge the planning committee team members who are here. Can you, if you're here, can you wave your hand? Shayna's at the back, Charmaine. There's a few other staff. They've worked really hard. Let's give them a big round of applause. And one of the things we really tried to do at this men's conference was take ideas from the last conference and to minimize women being in the room. You'll notice we're just on the edges and the fringes. And if you would like even less, let us know. We want this to be your conference. We want you to feel safe. We want you to feel supported. And as it was mentioned, the theme is the man in the mirror. So, Kweyespogo tetap minswiak. We have to look at ourselves very closely. Igwa the nugget tayak kigwe tagipuni tayak. We need to stop what needs to be stopped. The miskutayak kigwe that needs to be changed. We need to change things. We need to stop things. Egomina the miumatahuyak. We need to be healthy and strong. We need to heal what needs healing. A lot of our people have intergenerational trauma, as Craig mentioned, and we also have that intergenerational strength. Some of the things, I've worked in health for over 30 years. I know, and you know, I look like I'm just a young whippersnapper, but I've been around for a long time in the area of health. And I'm going to say it, and you already know it. Our people have been impacted by sexual abuse. There's young boys who were sexually abused by the bigger boys. Those behaviors came back into our communities. We need to talk about it. We need to know it's not our fault, and we need to heal from it. As a woman, I want to tell you, as a woman, I need a man. I need our men to be honest, to be courageous, to talk about their stuff, but to know most importantly, we can heal from it. We can close those doors. We can heal our heart. We can move forward in a powerful way. You know, there's also the disrespect our people experienced in residential school. We were told not to speak our language, not to practice our culture. And that disrespect somehow affected our psyche, and sometimes we're actually very disrespectful to one another. We need to treat people with love and kindness. And I want to say to you men, because you're men, as women, we want to be loved. We want to be treated with kindness and respect. We want you to protect us when somebody's calling us down, or hurting us. We want you to love on us. I want to also encourage you, no matter where you are, as our Vice Chief stated so eloquently in the beginning, you're role models, and to lead by example. You know, where I was when I started my healing journey, I was in my early 20s. Where I was back then, I'm over here. I'm not where I need to be, but I'm moving along. Each workshop, each gathering, each conference, each healing circle, I get a little stronger. I get a little braver. And especially when I have support from my husband. You know, my husband's a good man, and he's my strongest supporter. And I just want to briefly, really quick story. A year ago, we both caught COVID. My husband was hospitalized for a month in RUH, and he literally died. He died. And he came back through prayer, because as his wife, I was praying for him. But you know what went through my mind when he died? What went through my mind was, he can't leave me. I'm not going to let him leave me. You know what else I thought of? How am I going to sleep at night? Because he's such a good protector. He hears traffic. He hears things I don't hear. I feel safe with him. I thought, how am I going to sleep at night without him? How am I going to raise my children? How am I going to do my job? Maybe I should just quit my job. I can't go on without him. But my point is that he's my protector, and he's my biggest supporter. So with that, I'm going to close and encourage you. You already heard this many times. Love your partners, love your wives, love your children, love your families, love your community, and lead by example. With that, thank you for listening.
Thank you, Marissa. Marcia. You gotta watch the English language. It's very interpretive. You know, I always think of that word ignorant. You know, it means you don't know, but us, we thinking, boy, he's being rude, he's being ignorant, but it's that interpretation of the language. We're going to be a quick health break here for those of you that want to flex around and get a good stretch here. Maybe some of you want to have a cigarette or whatever you need to do for this health break. Do that now, and we're going to bring you back here. We're going to try to stay as close as to on schedule as we can. So do that respectfully, guys. We are now on a quick health break. There's also some fruit and drinks and water, so stay hydrated, grab something to eat, grab some of that nutrition, and we'll be right back. Right on. Muskeg Lake. Yeah. Oh, yeah. My colleague, council member. Yeah. Muskeg Lake A's. Oh, okay. My dad's Eugene. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Testing 1 2. Good morning, Salotine. How is everybody doing? Tanse, good morning, everybody that is here. We're live here. Meadow Lake or Toyote. Meadow Lake Civic Center. It's Ari Dilajan. Yeah. Denahak Old. There. Lawrence Labada. Lawrence Atlantic.
Just ilala do hon dun zinega.
Abar Liaojan. Yeah.
That's sabore yaze do kampi zaze not eklo. Yaze honi dilo niklo.
Oni dil it silly holy hunlin lajan. Yati hort in the dodi.
The holiday ni chwade holiday in chwala jatok chwe.
Yeah, yeah. Hunke yeah, swimming pool thana chani de. Yeah. Ku dena you hanunt underment conference. Atlani then I know don't sign nena sa hui au do second annual huh. Atlani then I don't aslanet in delega.
Si niese dena you want tani delo asel de al q. Di dena danto abe ba asi di joinanto asi da do asi kanel kadan li haledi. Dene you hadon ti asi no I don't think la check code ason la. Ya do kani der halde aske nani kani to don't his idade.
Then it's hunt adi don't you see this a kud then I go there hanunt on the audio sa.
Jate chele qui sandas in jate asna de ti sandas on velore tono nani jure chizon nani ti tilas quotes on nani said nane but in charots on then nani ti Buffalo River on and Turner Lake that in couch then as was a neat deal jan chele qui neat deal.
Nazu. Toriu tied zina dana halandra isn't
Do you how that Qatar sa on the assistance of il de do den hal narasara ko compete the nakaswedi na tlinga ya for 3 hours husle hala ya 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Bakushan shan da jazi hari adi, but you know, John Sanats in Delu on the see gande yatia. Na he do on the mental health on the see then you babaho alant ile hota see that's an utone don't do but under ani than you.
That that nani da hotel see they don't on the sa nani the see kral nyo ya tare ni ga tore ila ya da sa on the sa and dan ling hale to a short adi ada guy the girl the see girl did ya hale the girl did beta ya hun la ya to ya ze hanare ni hana to the identity the hade the ha see carattere ne zole e denoto a se nare tela re denoto veni soto nare tela.
Yeah, or any dene you know dene ani zanoto bionilti or any so mas sino soon doing zinige labadaya se salia maybe later on this afternoon si denade today hun taike natlinosa
Marci cho loyalist.
masi so good afternoon, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're live here at the MLTC conference, men's conference, Civic Center here. You know, as Marcia came on here shortly for a little while, she is a senior health director at MLTC. So we will be trying to connect to the MLTC page to get to reach more of an audience here. And I appreciate you sharing and hanging out here with us today. I know there is a bit of a health break right now. Up next, we're going to have Glenn McCollum, the Métis Nation president of Saskatchewan. He's going to say a few words. He's going to have the stage for about 15 minutes, and then followed by a icebreaker from 11:30 to 12 p.m. But that is going to be the morning, and after lunch we're going to have J.R. LaRose rising above. He's going to be the first keynote speaker here uh, this afternoon. So we've got another Dene guest here. If you're tuning in, you're going to have some Dene in English. And if I can have access to a Cree speaker here too, that's going to be able to interview some people. We will give that for sure. So anybody, any Cree speakers out there that are tuning in, thank you, Masicho. Edlanet Serinto.
Ako.
Cool. Edlanet Roderick Setsia.
Ana zura se un chile que se puede.
Hurlia. Dani then you don't know what delu don't you see on the tia.
De sin ni se hace de jane US. And this is the kuna de best bobas kuna edari. E da insan da bin ye. E a antu so gol ni na. Antu no net ane like once a year or whatever. Once a year thala dene salani daily. Like at least three months or so now. Like every time they get together, then it's July. You see near just it than a has it that. Compete a pipe is right to you, then I had to right to you. Already I know.
Yeah. Torling gets in a gun the MLTC hell on then it or IT don't you see it but then I saw the do suicide koni sig on there like then I don't get in a gasi but doing the son don't you see on yet here then you especially see some with tonada.
Can't ella do like on the suicide at Chile than only done it Tariji then a thought is young. Egalan desho la banana sara silasi. A Yahudi ya silasi to say yaze. Sorry, guy. A by a chishu want eating. They are chitana hanit I. Then once nothing the community. O la gore shilai. Shall I cause a heli? Shall I kill all the shake heli hell they want in the last your body? A baron chokilu. A shishuri jade dana. Wouldn't dana get on new lay, share. Wouldn't dana not wait for anything, not wait for 10, 5, 6 minutes. You have to do it right now. Then the solution is on there. Bye bye, I see you only right away. You won't dana. You have to save a life, Janunke. A hajanai jola than you, only a rayachi. To save a life. Because we need these young people. All of you that can hear me, young people out there, I know you can hear me. My name is Rod Apsis, and I work for English River and also part of MLTC as an elder. I always often say this to the young people out there. If you need help, there's people out there that can help you before it's too late. You young people out there, you are supposed to bury us old people, not us. Old people burying young people, no. Not like that, my dear friends out there. Los Canelani, talk to your children. Especially what's going on right now, the new generation. Drugs and alcohol. And this is not deny. There's nothing long time ago. There's no gangsters long time ago. There was no drugs long time ago. There's a little bit beer and like homemade stuff long time ago. And Nishi. Yeah.
Yeah, or ni Masi Roderick doing as a salyan. Maybe in a days more time who on a sayaw to we MC but then ya now yeah doing zinige.
Okay, Marky Joseph Boy out there. Thank you very much.
Masi.
But now, for some reason, our younger generations, they think it's the opposite. If you're on Indian time, you're being late. So we got to bring that back to being on time, to being ahead of time, to being there early. So this is our job to spread that in our communities. Indian time is not being late. That's another way that people try to put us down and say Indians are always late. First Nations people, they're always behind time, but we're always ahead of time. We're always on time or ahead of time. So we're going to keep that teaching. So we're going to call everybody back at this time as we move forward with our agenda here. And we're so fortunate today to have the people that we have in our leadership positions to come and speak to us, to come and share some of their thoughts, some of their passions that they're doing in and around their jobs. I myself as well, I'm a council member out in Muskeg Lake. I have been for the last 3 years here, and it's been quite the journey to learn about the things that are going on in our band in Muskeg, to learn about some of the atrocities that happened to us in Muskeg, some of the settlements that we're working through. And one of the ones that we have just settled in Muskeg is a soldier settlement, it's called. And out in Muskeg, we're very proud of the fact that we have the most veterans per capita in Canada that come from our band, men and women that went to fight in the world wars, World War I, World War II, Korea, all the world wars. We have band members from Muskeg that have went out and fought. But the settlement that we have out there in Muskeg that we just finished, it's nothing to do with those wars. It's called a soldier settlement is what the government called it. But it's more to do with a land dispute out in Muskeg and land that was surrendered. And it was because of our participation in the Riel Rebellion out in Batoche. So the government came to Muskeg and they told us not to participate. Don't go out there. Don't be a part of that. But we had a lot of relatives out in Batoche, a lot of Métis relatives from Muskeg, and we wanted to go help. And so we did. A lot of our warriors went out there to go be a part of that. And the government knew we were there. They knew we were a part of that. And they took away our leadership for 10 years. We weren't allowed to have a chief or council. So we're really at the beckon of the government at that time. They took away some of our land, our grade A farmland just outside of Muskeg there towards the highway. If you're ever on that highway, Leeskin, Marsland, all that land where the Hutterites are, they got that land. It was sold to them by the government. That was all Muskeg land. So that's what our settlement is about. But as we move through that settlement, we understand about our relations, our Métis relatives that were out there fighting for their jurisdiction and fighting for their rights and fighting for their lives and their communities out there in Batoche. So with that, it's to introduce our next speaker, and he is the Métis Nation President, Mr. Glenn McCollum. So make him welcome here, friends and relatives.
Good morning, everyone. Ano sa matua kataksin niya ko tanapyo no? Ipinto na makigoy mati sa tan sa tegi switch yo ganito ya. Maginto na matan sa tasiktapan suya. Your director Marcia kawihta the theme this conference, love and kindness. Iwas sa takitapin suin, Wapa mo ni. To look at yourself in the mirror. What do you see? Kasi mi tamam to ni tamen love and kindness. Gagaway gay man gian o inapiwak. Taguchita apu tasagi isuya. Tasaga haya ko skuiwak. Kui gumagan nawak. Kimama nawak. Bisa to ko atagista no tanti ka okchia. Residential school ati generational effects kaya mata kay residential school yung situhtin. Dan siya ismam tuni tamen dan siya itamahchuhin ay man. The simplest things. Kisindag tapah tamen sagi itong mo tatan. Saginski na kuy gamagan. Apo ko may giyay ma. Saginski na to yak. Asunit siya yak tagwas kitiptet. Tasagihet ay man. You know, in my travels, I'm Glenn McCallum. I'm the president of the Métis Nation of Saskatchewan. I grew up in Beauval. My dad's from Beauval. My mom's from Pinehouse. My dad went to residential school. I went to day school in Beauval, and my mom went to Isla Cross. I was sexually abused as a young boy. Abandonment, neglect, anger, jealousy, controlling factors took over. Learned behavior in the families, some of us that grew up in these families. But the theme of this conference, man in the mirror. Think about that, man in the mirror. And I wrote beside it, look into the mirror. To be able to look at yourself in regards to who you're looking at. With what spirit do I carry myself? You know, I used to cry a lot when I talked about my abuse as a young child. I used to cry a lot in regards to the loneliness that I used to feel when my mom and my dad were drinking and the violence created by alcoholism. I used to cry a lot when they separated when I was 10 years old. My mom being in Pinehouse, my dad being in Beauval. But we don't talk about that stuff. That's why we cannot grow, because we're not embracing the past. Embrace it. That's what we experienced. If I keep hiding the fact that I was sexually abused, physically abused, abandoned, neglected, then where would I be? I would only be looking at a man in that mirror, but not the person in the mirror. It took a long time for me when I mentioned just the simplest things like holding hands, loving someone. Not once till I got older did I got to appreciate my wife and hold hands, especially the hugging part. We tend to hide those feelings that we have. I always knew I was a good man growing up. But when is that good man going to come out? And to be able to be honest to himself in regards to what's bothering me. And a lot of us have been bothered by generational effects of whatever that might be. So how do we do that? You know, when people talk about healing, if you look at my little community of Pinehouse, drinking capital of the North, there was a documentary done of my community. And a lot of you, most of you, some of you might have come to my town at that time. 99% of alcoholism. And to be able to see the dysfunction, if you wanted to visit from one end of the community to the other end, it was hard to do because everybody calling you in regards to having a drink wouldn't make it to the end of the town. It was awful. But we didn't see ourselves. It was something that we did and practiced, but we never got to see what we could be as people. That we have Like the vice chief said, we have children. We have grandchildren. But that was a missing piece in our lives. So many kids were lost, taken away from my community. I remember working in the inner city of Saskatoon at Building a Nation. A woman, a young lady walks in at the front desk and said, "Is this where Glenn works?" He came looking for me and just came from the United States, where he was given up as a young baby. And the first time that I met my cousin. There's so many things that are going on today that take us away from our spirit in regards to how we should carry ourselves. I use the medicine wheel, the wheel that you see up there. And it says in the West, heart and emotion, emotional well-being, family, belonging, love, and then it says physical, sex, diet, and health, mind, social, job skills, memory, thinking, and spirituality, vision, values, and beliefs. You know this personal development work tool, I call it. I used in my hometown, a Pine House, and then used it in the inner city. It represents for me, in regards to what has been missing in my life, if you take a young child, that's when we learn emotion. Child, teenage years, adult years, and older years. And if you take your life and look in the mirror and see and question yourself in regards to what is wrong, what parts do I have to strengthen in order for me to be the man I should be as a husband or a mushroom. Gagawin nga manan mi wan matagtap mo suin wap mo ni tagitap met yawan na piu tawi tamuet apuchi tagwi sagut si met tawi chisod. To be able to make that person that you see in the mirror believe in themselves that they can be different. Because when I was growing up as a young child, I knew quite a bit of good emotions, family, belonging, until the alcohol came into our lives. My dad could never talk about the residential school where he just about died. A lot of you know the Meadow Lake here. A lot of people know my dad, Harry McCollum. Had a peg leg, lost his leg at the residential school. When he should have been in school, he was cleaning wheat in a thrashing machine. He fell in, 12 years old. So all those things that he suffered, not being a part of his family, became a different man, a different person. So he never talked to us about that, but we could see it when he was drinking, when he was a very angry man. But he can be the best man when he was sober. And so when you look at that, and this is the thing. Yesterday I was at the assembly. A person walks out and said, "You're a bully, you're this, you're that." Leave him alone, I said. Let him talk. That's why a lot of times men run away from the reality of what we need to be and what we have to address. It's easy